According to the National Retail Federation, the national average of shrink compared to percentage of sales is 1.4%. That is not very much, but it's still not even all shoplifting. Remember, approximately 1/3 of shrink is shoplifting, and 1/3 of 1.4% is 0.4666, let's just say 0.47%. So that...
Okay, so as I said earlier, and I want to be a little more specific about this, this is really stupid because, as I said, shoplifting, which is what we're talking about, obviously there's other elements to shrink, but the shoplifting element does not happen at an equal distribution across the country, as you pointed out, Adam. Okay,
of course, yeah, I'm on it. I know this shit.
Some rural area is probably not going to have anywhere near the amount of shoplifting as a high traffic urban or even suburban store. It's not going to have anywhere near it. And if you actually look at the report, well, first of all, I don't know why he's drawing on numbers from 2018 or 2016. If you look at the latest National Retail Security Report, where they study the numbers from 2020, it said the shrink average was 1.6%. That means that 1.6% of their entire inventory on average just disappears somehow, vanishes. But if you look, they break the numbers down further. It says that 32% of stores, 33% if we round up, 33% of stores say that they actually have under 1% shrink. Okay. But 15% of stores have 3% or higher shrink. And this is why it's so stupid to use these dumb averages, because it's not about the average shoplifting or the average shrink loss in the country. It's about in high crime areas that end up having the stores where everything costs way extra money or ends up getting shut down. That's what we're talking about here. And to throw in the entire average is to just totally lower all the numbers and make everything look like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's all lies. Damn, what did Mark Twain say?
A lie goes around the world when the truth's still tying its shoes.
Damn lies and statistics.
Oh, that too, yes. And then we'll get into the numbers further because he doesn't understand how revenue works, which obviously seems to be the case for almost all socialists and leftists. So.
That's less than half of 1%. Corporations make that number seem larger by combining the shoplifting losses of every single business in the nation and showing the public a total that looks dramatic and massive. But this number is spread out across over 1 million retail establishments.
So he criticizes them for taking the numbers of all the shoplifting in the entire country and adding them together to make the number look big. Well, he's literally doing the same thing. He's taking all the numbers of all the shoplifting across the country and then spreading it out as if there's equal distribution to make it seem like the numbers are small. So.
Right, yeah. So, but it's enough in one area to really obviously destroy the area. But if you average that out nationwide, it makes it not that big a deal. Yeah. He's just lying, basically.
Yeah, you could do the same thing with crime statistics or murder rates or anything like that.
Losing 0.47% of, say, $10 billion still leaves that billionaire with almost $10 billion.
Do you like how, this guy, he hates rich people so much. He brings billionaires into this for no reason. I don't know what billionaires have to do with this calculation at all, but.
He's just mad. Mad.
Yeah. Yes.
The whole channel is driven by that I hate rich people attitude, but I just.
Yes.
How does he sustain his Patreon if he hates rich people so much?
That's a good question.
In fact, if those figures were inverted and the billionaire only kept 0.47% instead of lost 0.47%, meaning they were to lose 99.53%, that individual would still be tremendously wealthy and could live on that fraction of 1% for the rest of their life. That's how much billionaires have. And that's how little a fraction of 1% is. Shoplifting.
So this guy thinks that an apt comparison for a company that has these things called costs and overhead, and they have to buy products and pay employees and, pay taxes and make sure that buy, the storefronts and make sure they're all maintained and all the costs associated with that. Mm-hmm. He's going to compare that to just some hypothetical billionaire that just has $10 billion sitting in a bank account somewhere. Right.
Most of these stores are publicly owned, though. They're like publicly traded stores. So,
well, they're not publicly owned. They're publicly traded companies.
Right, but
they're not publicly owned.
Well, they are. They're owned by the shareholders. So.
Yeah, but that's I wouldn't call that publicly owned.
Oh yeah, you're right, because it's like public and they're privately owned.
Yeah, they're privately owned.
Yeah.
But
they're publicly traded companies. God, this gets confusing. Anyway,
yes, any person can buy a share of something. Yeah.
Target, Walmart, Lowe's, just name us, Costco. I mean, actually Costco might be private, but all of these companies, if you're shoplifting from them, you're stealing from the shareholders who, I mean, he would shit his pants on the fact that they're shareholders, but
yeah, he doesn't care. Bunch of middle class shareholders. Ew, they're just making money for the billionaire class, the fools.
Yeah.
Shoplifters are not genuinely damaging the lives of the owners of billion-dollar corporations. Security guards for department stores are paid low wages. Nevertheless, security is often limited in department stores or automated. Many times there's not even a single security guard on duty. Why is that? Because even a low-wage security guard can sometimes cost more annually than losses due to shoplifting. Retail corporations...
See, in certain neighborhoods, though, that's the thing. Like the security costs in neighborhoods where there's high level of shoplifting and they have to hire a security guard, they have to have a security guard there all the time. Mm-hmm. That makes it more expensive, but they do that.
Well, and we'll get into this when he gets in the revenue. He doesn't understand how thin profit margins are in a lot of these retail outlets.
Yeah, it's very slim.
And we had someone talk to us about this or super chat us about this or something? They worked at some retail store and like they were saying they really only made profit for the entire year during Christmas time.
That was me.
Well, that was you. Okay, yeah.
Because it's that's why they call it Black Friday.
Right. And so the idea that like, oh, all these, retail outlets just have the money to just hire like fucking SWAT teams to patrol the stores when they're already operating on these very thin margins. It's just, this guy has no clue what he's talking about.
Some security guards as a deterrent, but generally instruct the guards to perform their duties in a limited capacity, instead of chasing them throughout the store and into the parking lot. Most security...
Yeah, because what happens, first of all, it depends on your state. Because in a lot of states, I don't even know if security guards are allowed to carry weapons. In a lot of states, security guards aren't even really allowed to detain people, depending on what state you live in. And they don't want like what was the Seth Rogen movie where he's the security guard? Do you remember? Have you seen that movie?
No.
He's the mall security guard, but he always wanted to be a cop, and he takes it like super seriously.
Yeah, mall cop.
And at the end of it, he ends up there's like a serial flasher in the beginning of the movie that's like a big problem. And at the end of the movie, he ends up shooting the guy. He just whips out a gun and shoots the guy, and he goes to jail. It's like they don't want their security guards
observe and report.
Observe and report. Yeah, they don't want. It's a very dark comedy. They don't want like the security guards, whipping out guns, getting to shootouts, like getting into these physical altercations with shoplifters. Because guess what? That's how lawsuits happen. Okay, the security guard could sue if he gets hurt. The criminal could sue if he gets hurt. Random, people shopping there could sue if they get hurt. Like the risk is just too great. But he makes it like that's the real reason. And this is why this is so disgusting. When it comes, he attributes all this this malice to companies and capitalism and retailers. The reason they don't generally have security guards, chasing people down through the fucking aisles like Jason Bourne or Jason Statham or something, is because they don't want to end up hurting someone else and causing, and then they get into a lawsuit and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Leon's got me blocked. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Why would he do such a thing?
Also unarmed. If shoplifting were a serious threat, corporations would hire more security.
See, we know shoplifting must not be a big deal because they're not hiring. Just hire more security. Just hire more security, Adam. What's the problem?
Just move to a better neighborhood. Close the fucking thing down.
It's funny that the same person, the same people, like this guy, who, they're complaining like Kyle Rittenhouse is walking around with a gun, protecting property. And yet he's like, oh, why aren't there like armed security guards in CVS with guns, protecting their property? That shows that they don't actually care.
It's no big deal.
There you go. This is what we need. This is what they should do. We need a program where they clone, or how about this? We build a robot that has the AI algorithm of Kyle Rittenhouse, and you put one in every store, and he walks around with his AK-47 or AR-15 looking scary rifle that they're so scared of. He could walk around the store and prevent shoplifting. How about that?
Yeah, they would freak out. Kyle Rittenhouse should license his likeness for that, though. It'd be killer. It would be killer.
It would be. It would be.
Guards, but it's not a serious threat. It would not be cost effective to pay more guards. To summarize, shoplifting is a nuisance at best, but it is a nuisance that allows a corporation to play the victim card.
Hold on, I've seen videos of people shoplifting and breaking windows. There's a crime wave.
Sensationalized news footage would have you believe that the nation is out of control, but these are anecdotal accounts and individual incidents.
I like when it's, when you have videos of people breaking into stores and stealing a bunch of stuff. That's just, the news sensationalizing something. That's just anecdotal evidence. But when you see like a white police officer kill an unarmed black man, well, that's not an anecdotal, incident. That's, there's just an entire wave of racism that's sweeping across the country where cops are just killing unarmed black people left and right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
A video of someone shoplifting and getting away with it does not mean our national moral character is collapsing. It means that the media has found a narrative that scares white suburbanites, a demographic most easily fooled into being afraid of something that does not affect them. Both.
See, he's claiming the right is trying to scare white suburbanites, and he's trying to scare black inner city youths.
Well, he's trying to. It's funny he says that he's literally trying to scare white leftist suburbanites too, who probably make up the majority of his audience.
Really? I mean, I don't. He's trying to encourage kids to shoplift, I think.
Yes, he is. Yeah, a bunch of white suburbanite kids who want to shoplift, and then say that they're fighting the fucking revolution.
Right? Yeah.
Because they're stealing Xbox and Nintendo Switch games from stores.
They don't care. Corporations don't care.
No. So well, and also like, yeah, it's like true that, middle class, upper middle class, white suburbanites, they're not the ones that are really being impacted generally from shoplifting. No. It's poor people that are being really harmed by shoplifting.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care.
The shoplifting is very low in wealthier areas, obviously, and it's not enough to really hurt the business. I mean, his narrative works in a wealthy area. His narrative does not work in like an inner city neighborhood.